Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David Jay. Jay and Janelle have the night off. Governor Steve Bullock has given his approval to 6 bills state lawmakers passed during last week's special legislative session, and several key bills became laws, but not with the endorsement of the governor. Altogether, the new laws will cover most of the state's $227 million budget gap. Bullock let 3 of the largest changes become law by not vetoing or signing the bills. That includes bills reinforcing proposed budget cuts, making transfers from other state accounts, and encouraging a deal with the owners of a private prison in Shelby. He also vetoed 2 bills supported by Republicans during the session. One would have saved $15 million by requiring furloughs from certain state employees, and he signed a bill that put a $30 million charge on investments with the Montana State Fund. The state fund has filed suit claiming that charge is unconstitutional. The governor called the special session this month to reduce the spending cuts needed to fix the budget shortfall. And it's a dirty little secret in Montana, a crime so repulsive its perpetrators live in fear of getting caught. But MTN's Dennis Bragg reports a new public service campaign that sends a message to those involved in child sex trafficking.
While Montana is making inroads to combat human trafficking working with surrounding states, there's one area of major concern: children being taken captive and being forced into the sex trade to satisfy adults. Now, a new public service campaign launched this week called Unmask aims to bring attention to what has been an unspeakable crime.
We've done that before on the issue of fighting child sex trafficking, and we're pleased to do that once again with a Georgia nonprofit called Street Grace that focuses on trying to stop human trafficking, in particular child sex trafficking, and the Montana Broadcasters Association.
She never said nothing, there was nothing she wrote. She gone with a man in the long black coat.
It targets the customers of child sex trafficking and conveys the message to them that they're not anonymous, that we know who they are, that we're going to find them and we'll bring them to justice.
You might be under the impression that sex trafficking is an urban problem, that it doesn't affect rural areas like Montana, but the statistics don't bear that out. Fox says Montana is actually both a source for victims and a destination for their predators. In fact, the Department of Justice says the number of juveniles rescued from human trafficking in Montana has gone up 400% in the past 2 years. Fox tells me it's difficult to know if that's because enforcement is up, child sex trafficking is on the increase, or a combination of both. But he feels community awareness is key to stopping the tragedies ruining these young lives.
We have been able to catch human traffickers who are not only bringing individuals, typically minors, into Montana for sex trafficking, but we've also had young people from Montana who have essentially fallen into this trap and have been abused physically and mentally and otherwise and dragged into this criminal activities.
In Missoula, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
In addition to Montana, other attorneys general offices participating in the Demand and End campaign include Alabama, Arizona, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Maryland, Nebraska, New Mexico, and South Carolina. In Egypt, the hunt is on for suspects in a deadly assault at a mosque in the Sinai Peninsula. At least 235 people were killed and more than 100 wounded. It was Egypt's deadliest terror attack and the first on a Muslim congregation. Kenneth Craig has the latest from New York.
An unknown number of gunmen converged on the Al Rada Mosque on Friday. Inside, hundreds of worshipers were gathered for prayers. The massacre started with some kind of explosion. Armed men then stormed the building and opened fire. As people tried to flee, they were shot by gunmen positioned outside the exits. Arriving ambulances also came under fire. The death toll soared past 200 before the killers escaped. They destroyed everything, said one man who made it out. He said most of the people in the mosque had been killed. Friday's bloodshed happened in Egypt's North Sinai region. In recent years, the area has been a battleground between Islamic militants and the Egyptian government. There have been no claims of responsibility for Friday's attack, which targeted a mostly Sufi mosque. Suspicion fell to ISIS because the group considers that branch of Islam to be blasphemous. In a televised address, Egypt's president vowed to avenge the attack. He also declared 3 national days of mourning. In a tweet, President Trump called the attack horrible and cowardly. The State Department condemned it as an unconscionable act of evil. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
Many of the victims were workers at a nearby salt mine. And turning to weather, we've been spoiled the last few days. Bob's in from the Weather Center to tell us how it's going to go for the weekend.
Well, you know, yesterday we had a record high temperature, 71 degrees. Today we were a little bit cooler, but I tell you what, it's not going to be too bad this weekend. You'll notice a Doppler radar and satellite imagery shows just a couple of clouds across the high line. Most of south central Montana is clear tonight. We saw that at the parade tonight as well, huh? So here's our forecast for this weekend. We're looking at mostly sunny skies. It will be a little breezy. We might see some periods where the clouds will roll over the sun, but it's one of those things where welcome to home on the range where the skies are not cloudy all day. We'll see that this weekend. 53 on Saturday, 63 on Sunday. Overnight lows, they'll stay cooling down to 32 on Saturday night, down to 40 degrees on Sunday night. We do have a new cold front moving in on Sunday night and Monday morning, and things will probably cool down a little bit for the rest of next week. We'll chat about that in a few more minutes. David?
Okay, thank you, Bob. The warmer weather helped draw a bigger crowd to the annual holiday parade, according to some who attended. Shoulder-to-shoulder crowds lined the streets of downtown Billings tonight for the annual parade. The theme of this year was Elves of Santa's Workshop, and Q2's crew turned out in full force, showing off its own workshop. Kids at heart all took in the excitement and the candy of the holiday season rolling down the street. And this year's parade included about 100 entries. Billings retailers took in a steady flow of shoppers on this Black Friday. At Cabela's, shoppers lined up before the sunset on Thursday. Cabela's staff tried to make the wait as pleasant as possible, even showing an outdoor movie before the doors opened. With some big prizes on the line, from gift cards to firearms, more than 700 customers waited for the big reveal at 5 o'clock this morning. Cabela's staff members say the goal was to thank the customers and make it an entertaining experience.
I think we all do as retailers find it really important to keep the human element in shopping. They can get everything that they're getting here online, but I think part of it is the experience. If you look around at a Cabela's or a Bass Pro Shop, the experience is really part of shopping here.
Meanwhile, at the Rimrock Mall, the holiday shopping season kicked off on Thanksgiving. Traffic continued into Black Friday and grew about throughout the day. Mall management calls the day a wild success and says the key is to create memories.
Try to do that with fun and different things, kind of like our Spread the Christmas Cheer wall. Just unique little experience aspects throughout the center, making unique touch points.
The mall is extending its hours throughout the month of December. You can visit rimrockmall.com for the details.